Right now on Interstate 40, there's a truck at a rest area that looks completely empty. Dark cab, curtains drawn tight. But behind those curtains, a man is heating up chicken and rice on a portable burner, getting ready for bed in 72 square feet of sleeper cab. He's been living like this for 3 years. He's far from alone. Thousands of truck drivers across the country have given up their apartments and moved into their cabs full time because the math of their paychecks and American rent don't work together anymore. This is how they pull it off. No one was paying attention to the economics of long-haul trucking when the housing crisis started squeezing the people who move everything Americans buy. About 3.5 million people in the United States hold commercial truck driving jobs. Nearly 1 million of those are OTR drivers, the ones who cross 20 to 30 states in a single run and spend 250 to 300 days per year inside their cabs. That's not a job. That's a life sentence with a steering wheel. And the pay structure makes it worse. OTR drivers get paid by the mile, not by the hour. If the wheels aren't turning, the paycheck isn't growing. They don't earn anything for sitting at a loading dock for 6 hours. They don't earn anything stuck in traffic outside Atlanta. They don't earn anything waiting for a broken trailer to get swapped at a distribution center in New Jersey. A driver can work a 14-hour day and only get compensated for 8 hours of actual driving. So picture this. You're earning somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000 a year, depending on the company. You're away from any fixed location 300 days out of 12 months. And someone is asking you to pay $900, $1,200, maybe $1,500 a month in rent for an apartment you'd sleep in maybe 5 nights a month if you're lucky. That's paying full price for a bed you use less than a hotel guest. For a lot of drivers, the moment they sit down and run the numbers, the answer becomes obvious. Give up the apartment, give up the lease, put everything that matters into storage or the sleeper cab, and let the truck become home. The first challenge is staying invisible. And this is where the methods get seriously clever. The simplest and most effective tool is the blackout curtain system. Every modern sleeper cab has a divider curtain separating the sleeping area from the front seats. But full-time truck dwellers take it further. They install custom-fit blackout panels behind the windshield, cut from insulated fabric that blocks every trace of light from escaping the cab at night. From the outside, the truck looks dead. Dark windows, no glow, no shadows moving behind glass. It looks exactly like a rig where the driver dropped his trailer and caught a ride home for the weekend. Some drivers go even further and use reflective sun shades pressed against every window, including the side glass on the doors. During the day, it reads as a parked truck trying to keep the cab cool. At night, it eliminates any chance of someone seeing a flashlight, phone screen, or reading lamp from the parking lot. A few of the more experienced dwellers even build removable panels from Reflectix insulation, cut precisely to the window dimensions that serve double duty. They block light and they hold in heat during cold weather, which reduces how long the heater needs to run and cuts down on the noise that could give away someone sleeping inside. But curtains are only half the game. The real art is parking strategy. Full-time truck dwellers learn which rest areas have security cameras pointed at the lot versus the building. They learn which truck stops have the loosest overnight policies and which ones send lot attendants around with flashlights every 2 hours. They learn to park in the middle rows of a crowded truck stop, not at the edges. The edges draw attention. A truck sitting alone at the far end of a lot at midnight looks like a target or a problem. A truck buried in a row of 60 other trucks looks like nothing at all. They also develop what you might call light discipline. That means keeping cooking smells from venting out of cracked windows after dark. It means not running generators when the lot is quiet. Some drivers use battery-powered LED strips inside the sleeper on the dimmest setting, positioned low so the light can't be seen through any gap in the curtains. Others just use their phone with the brightness turned all the way down. And the timing matters. Experienced dwellers never arrive at a rest area and immediately climb into the sleeper with grocery bags and a portable stove. They pull in, do a walk-around inspection of the truck like any driver would, use the restroom, come back, and settle in quietly with the engine running for a few minutes before shutting it down. It looks like a driver grabbing a nap before his next dispatch. It looks routine, it looks boring, and that's exactly the point. This is where the story takes a turn you wouldn't expect, because the ingenuity doesn't stop at hiding. It extends into building an entire life inside that metal box. A standard sleeper cab is roughly 6 feet by 7 feet. That's about 42 square feet of floor space, though the bunk takes up a big chunk of it. The more generous condo-style sleepers on Freightliner Cascadias and Kenworth W900s push that to maybe 72 square feet with a raised roof that lets you stand upright. For context, a typical walk-in closet is about 25 square feet, so we're talking about living in something roughly 3 times the size of a closet for years at a time. But the drivers who do this well treat that space like a submarine engineer would. Everything has a designated spot. Underbunk storage bins hold clothes sorted by season. Magnetic strips mounted on the wall hold knives and small metal tools. Over-the-door shoe organizers get repurposed to hold toiletries, phone chargers, medications, snacks, and flashlights. Vertical space becomes the most valuable real estate in the cab. Ceiling-mounted cargo nets hold jackets and extra blankets. Small shelves screwed into cabinet walls hold books and electronics. The cooking setup is where things really get interesting. Full-time truck dwellers typically run a 12-volt refrigerator plugged into the truck's electrical system, which keeps food cold without needing the engine running. They pair that with a portable butane burner or an electric skillet powered through an inverter. Some drivers install small microwaves permanently mounted in the sleeper. A few of the more ambitious cooks wire in a power inverter big enough to run a small instant pot, which opens up stews, soups, and even slow-cooked pulled pork overnight while they're sleeping. The meals are basic but functional. Rice and beans, canned soups, grilled chicken, eggs in the morning. Grocery runs happen at Walmart or Aldi stores near truck stops with large enough parking lots to fit an 18-wheeler. Some drivers plan their entire route around which cities have the best grocery access near truck-friendly exits. One driver on a trucking forum described his typical weekly food budget at around $35 to $40, compared to the $12 to $20 per meal he'd spend at truck stop restaurants. Over a year, that difference alone saves somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. And it's not just about money. Drivers who cook their own food report feeling healthier and sleeping better, because truck stop food is notoriously high in sodium, grease, and calories that make you sluggish behind the wheel. But cooking inside a metal box creates a problem most people don't think about: water. Without a built-in water tank, which only the high-end custom sleepers costing $200,000 or more include, most drivers rely on gallon jugs bought at truck stops. A few of the more resourceful ones carry collapsible 5-gallon water containers that they fill at rest area spigots. That water handles everything from brushing teeth to wiping down cooking surfaces. And when you're carrying every drop you use, you learn fast how to make a gallon stretch. Pay attention to this next detail, because it explains everything about why this lifestyle works long-term. Hygiene is the part you'd expect to be the deal breaker, but it's actually one of the easiest problems to solve. Major truck stops, like Pilot Flying J, Love's, and TA Petro, all offer private shower rooms for drivers. Most chains give a free shower credit with a fuel purchase of at least 50 gallons, and since long-haul drivers are filling up massive tanks regularly, showers are effectively free. These aren't communal locker room setups either. Each shower room is a private, lockable space with hot water, a towel, a bench, and a drain. Some of the nicer ones have tile floors and decent water pressure. Drivers build their hygiene routine around fuel stops. Fill the tank, grab a shower, do laundry at the truck stop facility, and keep moving. For the days between showers, body wipes and dry shampoo fill the gap. It sounds rough, but the reality is that plenty of people with apartments go a day or two between full showers. The difference is just that no one talks about it. Now, there's one part of full-time truck living that separates the people who do this comfortably from the people who suffer through it. That part is dealing with extreme temperatures. A sleeper cab is a metal box. In July in Texas, the interior temperature can climb past 130 degrees within minutes of shutting the engine off. In January in Wyoming, it can drop below zero overnight. Most company trucks come with an auxiliary power unit, called an APU, which runs a small diesel engine to power climate control while the main engine is off. But APUs break down frequently, and when they do, you're stuck in a parked truck in a rest area at 2 in the morning with no heat and no way to fix it until a mechanic opens up somewhere. Experienced drivers plan for that. They layer their bedding with thermal sleeping bags rated for cold weather. They keep extra insulation materials stuffed around the cab walls and windows. And a lot of long-term truck dwellers keep something called a TerraShell in their cab. It's basically an emergency thermal bivy that reflects your body heat back to you using an aluminized lining. Fits in your hand when it's packed down, doesn't need batteries or fuel, and if your APU quits on you during a cold snap, you climb in, and your own body heat creates a warm pocket around you within minutes. It's the kind of thing that sounds simple until the night you actually need it. If you spend extended time in a vehicle or just want a solid piece of emergency gear for your car, I'll leave a link to the TerraShell in the description. On the opposite end of the spectrum, summer heat gets managed with battery-powered fans, reflective windshield covers to deflect sunlight, and strategic parking under highway overpasses or tree-lined rest areas when possible. Some drivers drape wet towels over the fan intake to create a crude swamp cooler effect. It doesn't turn the sleeper into an air-conditioned room, but it drops the temperature just enough to make sleeping possible. But here's the detail that everyone missed when this trend started growing. For a certain subset of drivers, this isn't a last resort at all. It's a financial strategy. A driver earning $50,000 a year with no rent, no utilities, no home insurance, no property tax, and no commuting costs can bank an enormous percentage of that income. Think about it. The average American household spends around $25,000 per year on housing costs alone. Eliminate that entirely, and your $50,000 trucking salary suddenly has the spending power of a $75,000 salary with a mortgage. One driver documented saving over $30,000 in a single year by living in his truck. Another described paying off $42,000 in debt in under 2 years. A couple who team drove together sold their house, moved into a custom sleeper with a shower and a 2-burner stove, and calculated that they were saving over $2,000 a month compared to maintaining a household they never used. They called their rig their money-making motorhome and visited family a few times a year when routes brought them close to their hometown. For these drivers, the truck isn't a trap. It's a vehicle for financial freedom, literally. They're trading comfort and stability for speed. Get in, save hard, get out with a down payment on a house or enough cash to start a business. The ones who succeed at this tend to set a firm end date before they start. 2 years, 3 years maximum. Without that deadline, the temporary arrangement has a way of quietly becoming permanent. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I cover stories like this every week, the hidden systems that keep the world running while most people drive right past them. And if you want to keep going, stay with me, because the next part is the one that changes how you see every dark truck at a rest area. By the time a driver has been doing this for 6 months or more, the next challenge shifts from physical survival to paperwork survival. You need a physical address in the United States for almost everything that matters: bank accounts, tax filing, voter registration, and most importantly, for truck drivers, your commercial driver's license. Most states require a 911 address on your CDL, not a P.O. box. So how do full-time truck dwellers handle this? The most common solution is a friend of record address. You ask a family member or a close friend if you can use their physical address as your legal residence. You don't receive mail there, you don't live there, but on paper, that's your home. Your CDL says you live at that address. Your bank account uses that address. Your taxes get filed from that address. For actual mail, the UPS store model works better than the post office. A UPS store mailbox gives you a real street address, not a P.O. box number, and it can receive packages from FedEx, UPS, and USPS. Drivers rent these boxes on annual terms, check in when they're passing through the area, and have the staff hold anything oversized until they can pick it up. It costs somewhere around $200 to $300 per year depending on the location, which is a tiny fraction of what an apartment would cost. Some drivers take it even further and set up digital mailboxes through services that scan your mail and upload images of the contents to an app. You read your mail on your phone while parked at a truck stop in New Mexico. You never touch a physical envelope unless you need to. And this is the part where things stopped being about logistics and started being about something deeper. The mental health reality of long-term truck dwelling is the piece that doesn't show up in clever parking strategies or cooking hacks. OTR trucking is isolating even for drivers who have an apartment to come home to. For drivers whose truck is their only address, the isolation compounds over time. The days blur together. You wake up in a different state than where you fell asleep. Your social interactions consist of brief exchanges with gas station cashiers and loading dock workers. You might go days without having a real conversation with anyone beyond a dispatcher asking where you are and when you'll arrive. Holidays happen, and you're parked at a rest area outside of a city where you know no one, eating leftovers heated on a portable burner while families a few miles away sit around tables together. There's also the boredom factor that almost never gets discussed. After the driving is done for the day, you're stuck in a space smaller than a bathroom with nowhere to go. It's dark outside. The truck stop parking lot isn't exactly a neighborhood you want to wander around in at midnight. So you sit in your bunk, scroll through your phone, watch downloaded movies, and wait for sleep to come. Some nights it doesn't. The rumble of idling trucks all around you. Headlights sweeping through gaps in the curtains every time someone pulls into the lot. The occasional knock on the cab door from lot security doing their rounds. It takes months to learn how to sleep through all of that. Some drivers manage this by building routines that give their days structure beyond driving. Morning coffee at the same time, a workout using resistance bands in the cab, or walking laps around the truck stop parking lot. Calling family every evening at the same hour. Others find community in trucker forums and social media groups where people living the same lifestyle swap tips and stories. One forum thread titled, "Any Homeless Truckers Out There?" has been active for over a decade, with drivers cycling in and out of the conversation as they enter and leave the lifestyle. And that's the tension at the center of this whole story. The line between choosing this lifestyle and being forced into it is blurrier than anyone wants to admit. The trucking industry in the United States moves over 70% of all freight by tonnage. Every grocery aisle, every hospital supply room, every construction site, every package on your doorstep exists because someone drove thousands of miles to bring it there. And a growing number of the people doing that work have no permanent place to call home, and not because they're reckless or because they made bad decisions. The economics of the job and the economics of housing in this country have drifted so far apart that a permanent address has become a luxury that a job paying by the mile can't reliably support. The next time you pass a row of trucks at a rest area late at night, all dark, all quiet, all looking perfectly empty, remember that some of those cabs have someone inside. Someone cooking dinner, someone reading on their phone, someone who figured out how to make 72 square feet feel like home because the alternative was paying for a home they'd never see. And they've gotten so good at it that you'd never know they were there. If you want to keep going, click the video on screen right now. I cover the hidden systems that keep the world running while most people drive right past them. I'll see you in the next one.